I suspect that this video is not going to go down well in some quarters, but I think it's important. The C.S. Lewis Festival runs every November in East Belfast, has done for I think the last 10 years, and is ostensibly a celebration of Belfast born writer C.S. Lewis. If you don't know who C.S. Lewis is, look, he went off to Oxford. He was a peer along with likes of Tolkien. He created the Chronicles of Narnia. He also wrote some science fiction and some interesting spiritual books. Now, the festival is running this year as a 2-day event, orchestrated as always by East Belfast Arts Festival. And I have to say, I think the organisers from Eastside should be embarrassed by the offering that they got. I've worked with them before, and compared to what they did then, what they're doing now is a disgrace with scant resemblance to anything like a celebration of C.S. Lewis. And I find it very difficult to enthuse about it. Fortunately, it happens. I've damaged my eyes. I had surgery the other day, so I can't go to anything anyway. But I'm an East Belfast boy, and C.S. Lewis is someone that I grew up with and whose works I loved growing up with. So the event is meant to happen over 2 days, Friday 21st November, Saturday 22nd. On Friday the 21st November, they have a Step into Narnia Christmas at the Square event. That basically consists of some arts crafts, some food, Santa events, and the light up of the Christmas tree. None of which really has anything to do with C.S. Lewis and his work, but a lot of it will take place at C.S. Lewis Square in East Belfast, so I guess there's your C.S. Lewis connection. Around you will be characters from the Chronicles of Narnia. It's not really enough, is it? Saturday 22nd November, they have a handful of events. There's a busy beaver craft fair at Templemore Baths, so nothing to do with C.S. Lewis. There was meant to be poetry workshop, but that's had to be cancelled for unforeseen circumstances. There's a ferry door treasure trail at Victoria Park, and then there is tours, I believe, at St. Mark's Church, where C.S. Lewis went to church, and also at C.S. Lewis Square. It really is paltry compared to what they've offered in the past. I was involved in 2018. I think it was the last time I did anything with C.S. Lewis. And at that point, there were all manner of talks going on during the week. There was stuff that was looking and exploring some of the other stuff that he did, some of his other thinking, some of the other ideas that he was bringing up. We were doing events around the science fiction elements, and it felt like a much bigger thing. It ran for like a whole week. Now, I appreciate that arts funding is cut left, right, and centre, and it's very, very difficult to get anything to run these days. But it is, I think, embarrassing to talk about a festival and name it after someone and supposedly celebrate that person's work whenever you're really doing very little apart from maybe a little gentle nod to the Chronicles of Narnia. And C.S. Lewis was more than Narnia. And we really need to get beyond the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. There's scope for so much. I don't know. Have any of you been to it before, or any of you thinking about going? I appreciate. Look, there's some great stuff for the kids, and I'm sure they'll really enjoy it. And the craft fairs are always good. But the idea of calling this a C.S. Lewis festival, and I am sure, I imagine, still getting funding from various bodies to run a festival. To do that, you're going to have to do a little bit more. Needs to be a little bit more legwork, a little bit more diversity with the programming, and I would hope that there's a return to that. But for me, I find it embarrassing that this is what we're calling the C.S. Lewis Festival. Is a day and a half basically of what feels like Santa Claus events. That's not C.S. Lewis. It's an embarrassment to Belfast. It's an embarrassment to Northern Ireland. Eastside, you can do better, and I hope in the future you will. I'd be interested in your thoughts. What do you think? Am I being too harsh? Can't imagine Eastside are ever going to book me for anything after this, but there you go. I'm Robert J. Simpson. I'm a cultural historian and commentator, and do continue to like, follow, share, etc. for other interesting bits, and hopefully once I've recovered, back up to my regular content.